I remember the very first lecture I attended at university. Something clicked in my mind. I realized that university and college is not what it was cracked up to be. And I realized if I wanted to live a successful and fulfilling life, I had to take learning into my own hands. And thank God I had the internet. Never before has there been access to so much wisdom. But I realized very quickly as I went on the path to earning an income online that learning online has actually never been more difficult than ever before. There's so much noise out there, so much content out there, so many people promising you the world but failing to deliver on it. Never before has it been easier to get distracted, scrolling endlessly on TikTok or Instagram and going down YouTube rabbit holes for hours and hours and hours. And looking back now that I've accomplished my goal of earning an income online, the biggest goal I ever set for myself, I realized I could have done it so much quicker if I had understood these 6 steps for learning online and acquiring wisdom that I'm going to be outlining in this video. I've now realized that you're no longer the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You're the sum of the 5 people whose content you consume most online. This is a seriously important video that I think will shape the lives of all of the people that have supported me in watching these videos. Step number 1, to figure out what you want. If your goal is to learn and acquire wisdom and build the life of your dreams, then the very first step is to figure out what you want. And that's because of the myth of objective productivity. If you consume any content online, you'll see people telling you, do this thing, follow this morning routine, start this habit. They're productive. But what you have to understand is that productivity is relative to where you want to get to. What's productive for one person may be unproductive for another person. So you must figure out what you're trying to get. And the simplest way to do this, most people get really perfectionistic about this. Open up a pen and paper or a tab on Chrome or Google Docs or Notion, wherever, it doesn't matter, and spend 5 minutes just immediately writing down what you first think of about what you want. Don't try and come up with your end goals first, just do a brain dump of things that you want. Then once you've written that down, summarize it and turn the goals into concrete goals with a specific deadline and a specific thing that you want to achieve. It's very simple. Step number 2 is base all of your learning around solving a specific problem or achieving a specific desire. There's been times I've tried to learn how to be a better chess player online and I've made no progress because I don't really care. It's not a problem and it's not a great desire I have to become an incredible chess player, which means I don't really consume the best content for improving myself at chess. It's very easy for me to get distracted, and even if I do find some valuable content, I get bored and I'm not really focused on it. One of the main problems of formal education is that they teach you things that aren't specifically on the path to achieving your desired goals or solving a specific problem you have. So base all of your learning around real concrete problems or real concrete desires that you have, and you'll find yourself taking learning so much more seriously. Step number 3, and I know this is an abstract concept, but it's incredibly important, and don't worry, we'll get into more concrete steps later, is understand why you are learning. This is really powerful. At the end of the day, the world operates on cause and effect. Things happen which cause other things to happen. Everything that you see in front of you has always operated on this law. And if you think about what a goal is it's just an effect in the future that you desire. And because we know the world operates on cause and effect, if there's an effect in the future, that can be created by a specific set of causes that lead to that effect. I realize now that I've earned a career online that 99% of the things I was doing was a complete waste. And if you ask most people who have achieved anything, they'll tell you that most of the things they did weren't actually leading to where they want to get to. Yes, the things they did may have taught them a lesson, but if there was a way for you to learn that lesson quicker, it's actually very possible to achieve your 10-year goals in 1 year. If you're struggling to reach your goals, it's probably not because you're not trying hard enough. It's simply that you don't have the wisdom necessary to know which causes lead to the effect that you desire. This is where the butterfly effect comes from. Someone who is infinitely wise could touch a butterfly in a specific direction because he would know all of the chain reactions that would come on that, and he could create any specific desire that he wants. It's so important to figure out how the world works, to see it clearly, to acquire wisdom. If you can do that, you can navigate reality to get what you want so much easier. So put it as a priority. Step number 4 is to find signal and ignore noise. Imagine you're trying to tune a radio. you're twisting it, and you hear this static, this loud, ugly noise that's coming through. And as you're getting closer, you start to find some music. And eventually, when you get it perfectly tuned, crystal clear music comes through. That's what the internet is like. There's so much noise out there. There's an infinite amount of content produced, and it's your goal to filter through, ignoring the noise, seeking, trying to find a crystal clear radio station that delivers you potent wisdom and gives you lessons that you can learn and actually apply in your life. If you can get good at the skill of finding wisdom and tuning out the noise, this is such an incredible superpower. Think about it. Some life lessons take 10 years to learn. So if you live for 80 years, you can only learn 8 of those lessons. Whereas if you get good at learning from other people and finding signal online, then actually you can learn that lesson very, very, very quickly. And in a lifetime, you can learn thousands and thousands and thousands of lessons. You want to be listening to people that have done what you want to do, people that have solved your problems and achieved your desires, because there's a far greater likelihood that they can help you do that. And you want to tune out the people that haven't done what you want to do or solved your problems. Stop listening to friends and family giving you advice. If they haven't achieved what you want to achieve, then why should you listen to them? They actually don't know how to do it. Otherwise, they would have done it. So start listening to people that have done what you want to do, and immediately the world will start to shift. Step number 5, only follow 100 people online. When you follow or subscribe to someone online, you're basically giving them permission to brainwash you. You're saying, I want more of your thoughts in my brain. I want to think more like you. And over time, you will eventually become more and more and more like the people you consume online, which is why it's important to set a limit on the amount of people that you consume. On Twitter, I will only ever follow 100 people. That makes me be so brutal about who I follow. And if I want to follow someone new, I have to go through my followers and think who actually isn't adding to my life, and I unfollow them. I'm constantly curating the inputs that come into my brain so that I can acquire wisdom at a quicker and quicker pace, so that I can achieve my desires and solve my problems very, very, very quickly. Which, by the way, if you're looking for people to follow on Twitter, make sure you check out who I follow, because it's a very, very curated list. Step number 6 is use advanced search. Over time, as you start to learn different areas, you'll start to understand them like a map that's becoming more and more clear. And when you try to learn, instead of going to Google, what you'll do is you'll go to this map you have in your head, and you'll know what areas, what people, what niches will have the valuable information. An even more advanced tip is, if you're really careful about who you follow on Twitter, you can download the Chrome extension Twemex, and you can actually search everybody that you follow specific keywords. So if I search note-taking on everybody that I follow, I know immediately I'm going to get a bunch of really valuable tweets and resources and links all about note-taking. And this sounds like it's some weird niche concept. I actually use this multiple times every day. It's probably the most effective way to learn online. And step number 7 is to go deep. When you tune in and you find some signal, listen to that signal as much as you possibly can. If you find someone who has wisdom, consume all of their content, go deep in their content. When I found Naval Ravikant, I knew that his information could change my life, so I transcribed all of his podcasts, I compiled all of his articles, I scraped all of his tweets, and I compiled them into one massive searchable database. And by the way, you can get that in a link in the description. All so that I could get his wisdom as quickly as humanly possible.